My mom. Wow. As long as I can remember my mom, my earliest memories of her is that she's always working hard. She is always trying to be the best and do the best for everyone. Her name is Sonia Elizabeth Cox. We came to Canada in 1985, and from the time we came to Canada, my mom has always been a hard worker. And so we came August 28th, and by September, she was working 2 jobs. And that's how she started. She never finished high school in Jamaica, and so that was the first thing she did when she came here. She went back to school, she upgraded her education, and then she just hit the ground and she kept on going from there. I remember when my mom became a PSW, and I remember her going to school. I remember going to classes and taking the subway and getting lost on the subway and coming home and practicing on us. And I didn't understand why she did what she did, but she had a passion for it. And she loved her job. She loved her old people. She'd say that. I'd say to her, Mom, why don't you go back to school and do something else? And she'd say, no, I want to keep taking care of my old people. And she looked out for them. She advocated for them. She did her best for them. She baked for them. At certain points, even if a resident didn't have family to visit them on Christmas Day or special days, my mom would go to the store and buy a little gift and package it for them. So this is one of the best pictures I have of my mom. And this is a picture that was taken at a wedding. And my mom was a hugger and a kisser. She loved to hug, she loved to kiss. And as kids, we used to, my grandkids call her Grandma Wet Kisses, because she loves to hug and kiss you. And this picture represents the fullness of my mom. Her smile is big, her eyes are full, and her body is just, you could tell she's in full laughter. And when I think of this picture, when I look at this picture, I said, this is my mom. I always tell people, if you want to know who my mom was, I'll tell you this. There's a part in the Bible, Proverbs 31, and it talks about a noble woman. That's my mother. She cooked, she cleaned, she baked, she sewed, she knitted, she gardened, she did everything. And she didn't have any exception to you. Whoever you were, she showed you respect. And when it became evident that something was happening to my mom, I guess I could say that's the one thing I could say that this disease has done, is slowly taken her away piece by piece. So she is still there. And that's funny. I've had bad days since my mom became sick, and I still go to her. And somehow I feel her and I hear her. I think that's one of the things, I thought about what to bring today, an object. I brought her a wedding ring. That's something that I wear. Doesn't fit me, but I keep it with me. Her bangle that she's had since she was a teenager, I keep it with me. But the one thing I can say that my mom still gives to me is her strength, even in the depth of her silence. Even in all that this disease has taken from her, her strength is still there. Because she was a PSW for 28 years, we really, for a long time, we considered whether or not we wanted to put her in home. So the funny thing is, when we finally made the decision to put her in home, at one point, or a few times actually, my mom actually got out of off her floor. And the reason she came off her floor was because she was still functional to the point where she was still performing her duties. So the visitors would think that she's one of the staff. And so she would be caring for the other residents. So whether it was mealtime, she'd be pushing the wheelchairs to the dining hall, or whether she'd be walking around in the living area and she'd be tying laces and wiping faces and helping with the feed-ins. And at points, they would actually catch her in the rooms making the other residents' beds because she still was continuing as if she was a PSW. She would wheel the residents right off the floor as if she was taking them out to the sunroom. And then they'd realize, hold on, this is not one of the staff, this is the resident. So even though she was, the Alzheimer's was taking, grips in her life, she still kept on performing her duties as a PSW. And she did that right to the very end of her mobility. So even when she had a walker and she was moving around the nursing home, she would still park her walker and go help other people with their wheelchairs. So this picture is a very special picture because I remember the day when she received the award from the City of Toronto for her exemplary service. And I'm so proud of her. Every time I look at this, I remember who she is. And I think back on all the amazing things that she's done to come from a little town in Jamaica and to receive such a big award in such a major city like this. And I think it speaks to her service, and it reminds people of who this lady is or who she was in her fullness. And it reminds me too, because I feel like sometimes when I do certain things, I feel her energy of service, giving back, always giving back. Whatever my mom did, she always put her all in it. My mom never did anything halfway. She always gave her best. And I'm glad that she was able to get this. So that's why it means so much to me to show this picture of her. Thank you.